Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Mindset with Mary podcast, where we dive deep into all things mind, body, and soul to help you live your most authentic life, step into your power, and manifest the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Mary, your go-to life coach, mindset mentor, and spiritual guru, on a mission to help you break through self-doubt, anxiety, and limiting beliefs so that you can finally create the life you deserve. Each week, I'll be here with practical tips and empowering insights to help you live with confidence and intention. So whether you're looking to gain clarity, master your mindset, or go after your soul level desires, you're in the right place. Grab a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot, let's dig in. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the Mindset with Mary podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that gets a lot of attention on the internet, and that is nervous system regulation. And the reason this topic came about is I started to map out an episode called Things That Make Manifestation Easier. And as I started going through the different things that make manifestation easier, I recognized this very very trendy pattern within it. And it was simply that every single thing were things that regulated your nervous system. And so I was like, well, okay, that can be the main topic of this podcast. And then I got to thinking, okay, great. But I remember when I first started getting into mindset and manifestation, personal development world, I was like, what in the hell does it even mean to regulate your nervous system? So today I want to talk about what it means and why it's important so that you can start to shift from that stress and overwhelm, or maybe your numbness state if you're the kind of person who likes to stick your head in the sand when things get hard. For me, it depends on certain situations. Sometimes when things get hard, I like to hide, and sometimes when things get hard, I like to freeze, and sometimes I like to speed up 100 miles an hour. And so in today's episode, I'm going to talk about what it is and why it matters. And then next week, there will be an episode all about what things you can do, essentially things that regulate your nervous system, that will make manifestation easier. So make sure you tune in to next week's episode as well. And if you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button so that it does pop up next week and reminds you to go and check it out. Okay, if you've ever felt like your emotions are controlling you, and you're constantly on edge, or like no matter what you do, you can't fully relax, this is going to be the episode for you. And if you're ready to go deeper and get real support in being able to shift out of survival mode, shift out of freezing when things get hard, I would love to work with you one-on-one. Book a free breakthrough call and we can chat more about what's keeping you stuck and how you can really start to create the shift in your life. I'll leave the link for that in the show notes. All right, first thing first, what it means to regulate your nervous system. When it comes to this, I want you to think a little bit less about forcing yourself to be calm and more about just being able to create this state of balance, feeling safe, feeling grounded, and being able to process your emotions and express them in a healthy way. And I'm going to break this down. Your nervous system has two main branches that play a role in responding to stress in life. And when I say stress, what I mean simply by that is things that take you outside of your comfort zone. Things that, whether real perceived dangers or actual dangers, make you feel like you are not safe. So our body responds in different ways. So our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode, this is your body's alarm system, essentially. And it kicks in when you are when there is a perceived threat. So whether that's real danger, like we talked about before, like that car swerving into your lane, or maybe something a little bit more subtle, like a stressful email at work. Or maybe a difficult conversation. Your heart will start to speed up, your muscles tense, and your body prepares you to enter this fight, flight, or freeze. And this response is helpful in short bursts, especially if there's a car steering into your lane that gets you focused and reminds you, oh crap, I've got to pay attention. What do I need to do? And it helps you make decisions. But what happens for most people is we get stuck in this chronically, and it leads to this burnout, anxiety, exhaustion, all the things, right? So many of us see this on a day-to-day basis because our brain is not distinguishing between the two. We see these perceived threats as actual dangers, right? We post on Instagram and our mind thinks we're about to die. And that's just not true. And so our brain is not able to distinguish that. And so we get stuck in that sympathetic nervous system. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. This is our rest and digest mode. This is when we're healing, digesting, and our emotions are processing the way they're supposed to. When the system is activated, your heart rate slows down, your muscles relax, your body feels safe. It feels as if it can rest. It feels as if it can connect and recharge. There's no threat outside that is going to keep you on alert. It helps you just relax, take a breath, go to sleep, all the things that we need to do just to function as human beings. And this is where true nervous system regulation happens. Like I mentioned before, the problem is that many of us stay in this constant state of sympathetic activation. We're always in this fight, flight, or freeze mode, especially when we're starting to work towards our goals and dreams. And we're putting ourselves outside our comfort zone. Our brain's not distinguishing between the perceived threat and the actual real threat. So what nervous system regulation actually involves is being able to feel safe in your body and mind, knowing on a deep level that you're not just in this immediate danger 24/7 and that your emotions won't overwhelm you and that you can process your emotions. It's about teaching your nervous system that it's okay to slow down. And that actually, when you do slow down, when you take time to feel the emotions and process them and express them, things actually start to speed up when it comes to our goals and dreams. It also involves separating the ego from the intuition. When we're in this survival mode, fear-based thoughts tend to take over. And that regulation of the nervous system helps you quiet the noise, helps you quiet the overthinking, helps you really just reconnect with your inner wisdom and be able to distinguish when you have those, threats, perceived threats and thoughts coming up from the ego saying you shouldn't follow through with this goal and dream because it's threatening this and it's threatening that, versus being able to tune in and listen to your intuition and knowing from a higher level that this is actually the right path. So I want to give you a quick example of this in my life. For most of my life, I have been in this yo-yo diet state. I think I started when I was like 11 or 12. And it was always just this need to be skinny so that I would then be worthy. It was never from this place of just wanting to actually be healthy and energetic. And luckily, as I started to work on my self-love, and these nervous system regulation processes and tools, that shifted for me. And instead of listening to my ego and telling me that I had to get healthy, I had to get fit, or I would never be worthy, I started listening to this inner voice, this inner wisdom that was like, hey, what if being healthy actually doesn't mean you have to diet? What if it doesn't mean that you have to completely cut out all of, the sugar or anything like that? You just actually have to learn what works for you and focus on that. And it became this curiosity that was speaking and asking me to try different things. And as I started to act on it and listen to it and follow through with it, things shifted faster than I ever had before. And I was able to maintain it instead of just like gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, and constantly being in this state of frustration and taking action from the fear, from the ego, which also leads me to another aspect of what this involves. And that's just being able to distinguish the love from the fear. Because when your nervous system is dysregulated, it's easy to make choices based on fear. avoiding pain, rejection, discomfort. But when you relax and you feel calm and you're not in that fight, flight, or freeze, you can make choices from this place of trust and alignment. I have someone that I work with who's very narcissistic, and I can either look at that relationship in a place of fear and frustration or a place of love. And to me, the easiest way to process this and see it is to put on my lens, my little goggles that are heart-shaped, and look at it from a place of love. I asked the universe to help me reach some goals, and part of reaching those goals meant that I had to learn some things, meant that I had to learn how to deal with those kinds of people more than I ever had before. And even though it sucked and it wasn't fun having to learn how to manage and deal with this relationship, I put on my lens of love, and I understood that the universe put it there. God, the universe, my higher power, whatever it is that you call that for you, I call it the universe. Just resonates more for me. It was there for a purpose. It was there to teach me something. It was there to help me learn to deal with something, because on this journey of what it was that I wanted, this was going to come up. And if I had to manage one of the hardest relationships ever in my life and deal with this, then I could follow through with my goal. And I just trusted that. I saw it from this place of love versus a place of fear. It's hard to see that if you're living in anxiety. So hopefully that will make sense. Another thing that this involves is the ability to bridge the subconscious and conscious awareness. And this is very talked about before with the ego and intuition, love and fear. Because the subconscious mind is very much the animal brain. It's reacting to life from a place of, these are the thoughts that I believe, and these are the habits and patterns that I've built my entire life. And its operating is 95% of what's going on, and your conscious brain is only 5%. And so the ability to regulate your nervous system allows you to bridge that. It allows you to see the conscious versus the subconscious and look at it from that place of love, from that place of intuition, and say, okay, well, you know what? My beliefs right now aren't in alignment with what I want to create. And my brain's freaking out. It's scared. It doesn't understand what's going on, and it doesn't see that I'm actually safe. So I'm going to show it that I'm okay. Everything's okay. And I'm going to help process and rewire these old beliefs and help bring evidence and start new patterns and habits that can run in the background that are now in alignment with what I want. So at this core level, very, very core level, when it comes to regulating your nervous system, it's really truly about cultivating self-awareness, emotional resilience, and this deep, deep, deep sense of inner peace so that you can navigate life, so that you can start to distinguish when your animal brain is running the show, when fear is running the show. And you get to move into this ease and authenticity. And there's so many tools that you can use, and we're going to talk about that in the next episode, where we really dig into all of the things that make manifestation easy. So make sure you tune into that, because it's going to be super helpful. And I'm not just going to say, hey, breath work is the only way you can regulate your nervous system. There's so many different ways, because it's not one size fit all approach when it comes to manifestation. You have to figure out what works best for you. And so I'm going to give you all of these cool practical tips and tricks and things that can help you. And then you get to pick one and try it and see if it works, so that you can start shifting into this place of that parasympathetic nervous system, that place of, okay, everything's going to be all right. And even though right now I don't fully believe this, even though right now I'm not fully in alignment, I'm going to start shifting that because I can see it. Because life is fun, because I get to rest, I get to play, I get to have fun through this process. It doesn't constantly have to be this overwhelm and anxiety. And if this is something you know you need help with, if you're feeling stuck in this survival mode and repeating old patterns over and over and over again, and every time you're working towards a goal, you're like, holy cow, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep manifesting narcissistic people in my life? There's probably a thought pattern at the very core, this belief that keeps bringing that about so that you can learn what you need to learn to move forward. So instead of being frustrated with the fact that you keep manifesting this narcissistic type people in your life, or whatever that is for you, that's my pattern of what I've tended to manifest in my life, you start to get to see things from a different perspective. Life gets to be calm and exciting, and you get to feel like everything is figure outable instead of feeling like you're just in this day in, day out. I used to be stuck in that, and it wasn't fun. And so if that feels like you right now, or if you're wanting to break through that, I invite you to book your free breakthrough call is what I call it, because it truly is. It's this free coaching call, this free resource for you where we get to talk about what's going on for you and create a plan to help you shift into a more empowered state. And we get to bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to go and create this compelling vision that leaves you feeling motivated to take massive action. And I would love to support you on that journey. So go book that call. It's in the show notes. I'm going to leave that link there. Okay, that's all I have for you. Hopefully this episode was helpful. And if it was, hopefully it was. Hopefully it gave you some clarity and helped you understand what it actually means to regulate your nervous system. But if it was helpful, please share it. Screenshot it, share it on Instagram, tag me at Mindset with Mary. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from this episode and how it helped you. Okay? I would love for you to share that. And then also, like, if you share it and it resonates with somebody else, maybe it helps them shift something too. Maybe it helps them start to do things differently. And that's what this podcast is all about. I want you to be able to reach your goals. I want to help support other women through their journey, through their mindset, manifestation, and self-love journey, and really just step into their confident self, because you deserve that simply because you exist. I love you with all of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can tune into the next episode, which we're going to talk all about these different ways to make manifestation so much easier. Love you with my whole heart. Mwah.